This video is going to be a bit personal of mine. Without spreading this message and this experience what I've just experienced, you will experience it too. What I want to try to avoid is to suffer the same way as I did after this happened. Because I want to prepare for you, and I want to set up the barricades for you before this happens to you as well. Because remember the fact that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Remember the past video which I said about the fact that one of my old friends betrayed me by calling up an entire friend group to spread lies and misinformation that I've afflicted his life badly and negatively, that I am the villain? But there's this one part of the story which I've never said to you because of good reasons. Because of very good reasons. And that part of the story is very deeply personal of mine. And that is the fact that after this call ended, there's this one friend I had in that friend group who's like, and still is, like a brother to me. Who was like a brother to me. We did all things together. We were there for each other. We were willing to take the bullet for each other. He was the first ever man. It was the first ever man that I encountered in my life that was willing to take the bullet for me. Because keep in mind, the types of friends that are willing to take the bullet for you, especially in the modern days, are very hard to find. People that are willing to fight for you and be there for you every single day of your life are almost impossible to find nowadays. Because of the corrupted things of this world. Because of this corrupted society that we live in, that takes materialism and wealth as a higher priority than genuine friendship and the traditional family unit. And pretty much after I contacted that friend, we started to talk, in a pretty decent conversation, just like the usual. And then he started to ask me the typical questions of why did I do it? Why did I tell them these things? Why did I tell the other friend the truth? Why did I did this? Why did I do that? Saying that you do acknowledge that you made him this, you made him X, you made him Y, you made him Z. And by the way, to those people, I'm not saying that you should now start to spread your hate messages and take your crusty Dorito fingers and type in hate messages to this guy. Because you have to acknowledge that he was manipulated. He was manipulated because he didn't know the full scale of the story. And he was very greatly manipulated by the other person. So much to the point where he completely went on his side and forgot all of the good things we had together. And after the conversation ended, I said the same things of that the truth is meant to be hard. Which is, by the way, a universal law. The truth is meant to be hard. It is the way how you perceived it. After I said him the same truth of the problems he had and the ways of how he can solve it through the truth and not these sugarcoats what the woke media tells you. He then, after I finished talking in the conversation, he then said to me the words that go along the lines of, I don't think this conversation isn't giving us anything. And he left the call. And a few days later, he wanted another explanation. He wanted an apology from me in a text format to apologize to him for spreading the truth. And I said to him along the lines, I know that you're upset that I said these things to him, but you have to acknowledge that the truth is meant to be received the hard way. It's a universal law. So I'm not going to apologize for the truth which I just said. And after I uploaded that message to him, a few minutes later, he texted me and said, don't ever talk to me ever again in my life. This message was somewhere along the lines of getting stabbed in the chest. It was like getting stabbed directly in the heart. A friend of mine, a brother of mine who was there for me and who was taking the bullet for me all the times throughout our memories and through our childhood was genuinely close to my heart. Like, bro, picture yourself in this scenario where your best friend, where a friend that is always there for you, supporting you, a friend that is genuinely always there for you, says the words of don't ever talk to me ever again. And now picture of how horrifying it feels like to get thrown into the mud like this. And then I recently caught up to with one of his other friends, which in fact is, I've still praised the Lord that he is at least one of the rare few who wasn't in the conversation, wasn't in the manipulation, and he heard my truth and he agreed with it through his own experience. And I also said to him in that call, which is that if you talk to that friend who just said, don't ever talk to me ever again. Just say that no matter what, I will still consider him as a good friend. And I'll always be there for him. And a few days later, when we got into a call again, I asked him about the situation and how did he react? How did he genuinely react to the things that I said to him? And he said that my friend said along the lines of that he is no longer a brother of mine. I don't care what happens to him. This is something that genuinely made me bleed out even more. Even thinking of this, you have to also realize the reason why I'm speaking in the slowish tone is because you have to realize that this is some deep stuff which I'm talking about in my life. Something that shouldn't be on the internet. But I know the fact that if I don't speak my experience in this video, most likely you're going to experience the same thing. Most likely you're going to be thrown in the mud. What I'm trying to do for you is to create this mindful barricade so you don't get afflicted as much if you get betrayed like this. Because you will. You genuinely will. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. The main plot of this video, which I'm trying to tell you, is that things like this will happen in your life. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. There will be friends. There will be people that will be brothers to you. Genuinely be like brothers to you. Someone which you ever wanted in your life and throws you in the mud. This thing will happen. You will lose people. And you will lose a lot of people. Throughout your life, you will lose a lot of people in your life. Like, bro, I have in my teenage years and throughout my entire childhood, I've lost so many people in my life that not even my 10 fingers can count it. So I know what I'm speaking about. I know what I'm speaking about. And if you don't want to go through the same pain, if you don't want to drench your entire better couch with tears, and if you want to set up a mental barricade for yourself, to stand firm and advance forward to your goals as I did, then here's the 2 things you need to adapt in your life. The first thing you have to adapt in your life is this thing called respectful stoicism. In difference to regular stoicism where, you don't react to absolutely any single wrong thing that goes in your life. At anything that happens in your life, you just look at a stone face like I am right now. Respectful stoicism is in the definition that no matter what life throws at you, no matter what other people are saying to you, you always respond to them. And if it's necessary to fight back with words, you always do it respectfully. Because picture this. Like, picture for example, Ronaldo or Messi or any other top celebrity you know. Genuinely any top masculine celebrity you know. Do they act out in rage when things like this happen to them? Do you think that when things like this would happen in their lives, do you think they would do outbursts and throw the table? Do you think they would fight back with rage in their words and down the person's status? Of course not. All of these successful people you see in the world have adapted this thing called respectful stoicism. And that is the fact you respectfully fight back. You respectfully stand firm with the stone face like I am. But instead of offending someone, you stick to your truth. You generally just stick to your truth and fight back respectfully. Like, for example, when that friend was doing outbursts, at me, was manipulating the friend group, instead of acting out like him, which, alright, genuinely, to be honest, there were some times when I revealed some feelings like this, which I'm saying in my video. But overall, throughout this entire speech, I always stayed calm. I stayed calm. And when it was my turn to speak, I responded him politely, and I responded to him with respect. I didn't fight back with aggression. I always stayed in the defensive route while attacking. Because you see, the most interesting art about this is that when you fight back with respectful stoicism, in the future, and even now when will use respectful stoicism, even in the first days when you're using it, your words will carry more weight. Everything you will say will carry more weight. The moment when you use a respectful stoicism in your life makes your words carry more weight. And especially to the masses. Which is, by the way, if you want to convince people about something, If you want to have your words have more weight to them, use respectful stoicism. And I guarantee you will have massive changes in your life. And the second thing what I want you to do is the same thing which I did. Which is that after this brother of mine, cutted me out of his life, there is this one being which I relied on more. There's this one being which I just got on my knees and I relied on more. And even recording this video, I still think of him. And that being which I'm thinking of is no other than Jesus. And that is the fact that when you are in these deepest, darkest trenches, when you lose everything in your life, the Lord will be everything, all you have. Because for as in his word, it is specifically written, there is nothing in this world that can separate me from the love I have for you. And this is the verse that still stayed me, that still made me to stand like an indestructible pillar and record these videos for you no matter how I felt. That is the fact and the acknowledgement that I still have him on my side. Because you also have to realize that you will only get more disciplined in things through the hard way. You will only get more disciplined through losing things, through losing parts of your life. Because this is also something a lot of self-improvement channels also say, and I'm going to say this to you as well. To become the best version of yourself, you're going to have to kill your old self. You're going to have to put your old self, that lazy part of you who always just slacks off, procrastinates, and makes excuses. You will have to destroy that self. You will have to self-destruct and create a new self. And I can guarantee you the fact that this old you, he will fight back and he will rebel. He will genuinely rebel with everything he has to still keep you in the same phase as you have and you are right now. Because that phase of you, it still wants to be alive. It doesn't want to be dead. It's like that's as well as an instinctual reaction for you. You will do anything to be alive as well. The same thing goes for that spiritual part of you. Was that lazy part of you, that bad part of you. You will try to do anything it has to fight back to survive. And no matter what he throws at you, you still have to pursue him. You will still have to pursue him with the spear in your arm to destroy him and annihilate him, just so you can rebuild yourself, become a masculine, best version of yourself. So besides the point, I hope you'll learn something from this video which I just said, which is the fact that these things will happen in your life. They are inescapable. You will lose people in your life. So be ready for these things. Genuinely be ready for these things. If these things have already happened to you, if you're alone and lonely, if you don't have a community that has the same beliefs as you, then you can click the first link in the description and you can chat with my community. You can start all over and create a new brotherhood. And if you want somebody to talk personally to, you can contact me. I will be there for you. I will be there for you. This crusade and this community which I have is a community that gives you a sword to charge forward and fight. And yes, it's still in development, but you can become one of our early exclusive members in the future. So if you want to be a part of a community that is there for you, supports you, and is there for you, and is willing to lift you up, click the first link in the description. And I'll see you there, brother. And also, if you like, so you can like and subscribe to support this ministry. Also, you can comment down below whether you have whether you have received something from this story I've told you or not. And pretty much besides the point, I'll see you all tomorrow. Jesus loves you. Do not stop believing no matter what.